Pay attention, son. This is the part of the story that's really important. Now, this is the law of the jungle, as old and as true as the sky. The wolf that shall keep it may prosper, but the wolf that shall break it must die. As the creeper that girdles the tree trunk, the law runneth forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack.
What's up, everybody?
Hey
Welcome
guys.
to the live stream. Hex Foodies
What's
weekly
up?
meeting, or Hex Guild weekly meeting. Here we are. Daraj, thanks for setting this up.
Yes. Can you give an intro as to what the Hex Guild stands for to you? I think there will be a few people watching for
We're
the
an
first
area
time.
of the Hex community that believes in sustainability. So analyzing everything around us and how we can manipulate it in a positive way. That's my perception of this group. What about you, Marcus? What's your perception of this group?
I like the idea of opening people up to a sustainable way of accessing nutritious food versus just going to the grocery store. I think that's really a big deal in my opinion.
Sweet. They're in the middle of America. What about you, Daraj? What is this group to you?
So, according to me, a guild is a group of people with common interests. We here are I would say permaculture enthusiasts who are brought together by this cryptocurrency called Hex, and we are building on these resources. So, and it's completely free to join. The link to
No
the
membership
Telegram
fees.
group is no membership fees. On the contrary, if you are a very member of very good standing, we may give you a part of the treasury to handle in the future,
That's a good
which
point.
I
If you've
am
been around
currently one of the holders,
of the
and
15-year and 14 and a half years,
Yep.
you've got like a
And
15 or a 14-year and a 14 and a half year HSI stake. You're holding that portion of the treasury. That's awesome.
yeah, so I voluntarily took up the responsibility of handling these weekly meetings, setting up the thumbnail, which I'm taking quite a pride in
Yeah,
nowadays, and
because you're
as well as
AI
selecting a
generating it.
topic. Yeah. So also the topic for today, like today's topic is battling invasive species, and if you search for on Google what invasive species are, it will give you a definition, which is uh, invasive species or invasive exotics are non-indigenous species or non-native plants or animals that adversely affect the habitats and bioregions they invade environmentally, economically, or ecologically. There is so if you
That's
go by
interesting.
this definition, if you go by this definition, humans are the most invasive species of all. But,
I was gonna
but
say, do they include mammals? Was it all biology?
it includes all biology, but humans try to keep themselves separate. So yeah, so we'll
Because we're
concentrate
just the
on
hands-off studiers, right?
yeah, it's not us. Ah,
Hey Marcus, real
so
fast, how long is the treasury that you're holding?
I believe it's 8 years, so it'll be 2020. Hold on, I'll have to look. I don't know right off the top of
It's
my
all
head.
good, like 2031 sort of
I
thing.
think so. Or
2032.
mine might be 2028. I'm looking here. Give me a second.
Diraj, you
yeah,
posted a video of Millison, right? Andrew Millison.
yeah,
And I watched it. I think it was a live thing. And I just want to get this quote out of my head while I could. By the way, Facing Reality is in the background here. You want to add him?
yeah. We'll add him. I was waiting for you to finish to add him, but
Yeah.
here he is.
So,
How you
hey,
doing? Sorry I'm late.
it's all
Ah,
good, man.
I was
So I found this quote.
what did I miss?
Well, Diraj just gave us the subject for today. It's invasive species, and he read us the Google definition
Hmm.
and pointed out that they don't observe human beings as being a part of the invasive species, but yet Diraj is like, I'm a doctor. This is real.
Mhm. It's that obvious. Yeah, exactly.
But I wanted to
Funny.
point out this quote from Andrew Millison because it's so it really meant something to me. I don't know if it'll mean a lot to you guys, but Andrew Millison's thing said that permaculture, the term permaculture, is for people who don't recognize their path back to their natural origins with their ancestry of being symbiotic with nature. So permaculture is that word that replaces the path back to the symbiotics. That did something for me this week.
Yeah, I was listening to it live as well, and he's just a great guy. And if you like, he was praising India a lot for its initiatives in sustainable agriculture. So I felt very proud of it. If you guys haven't already, uh, I I think I linked to his channel in the previous video as well, but it's there in the Telegram group as well. So yeah, it is a great source of information. Um, Meanwhile, let us just acknowledge our audience here, our regular listeners. We have Crypto Truth, Red Squirrel, House Owning Association. Uh, then we have
What's up, SJ Pierce?
Explain and SJ.
Hey, HOA,
Yep.
thanks for taking up the responsibilities of gathering the project ideas for the Treasury targeting. Everybody who has project ideas for us in the future, please go do that. Every 6 months, we're going to have to make decisions. HOA is going to be our organizer in that space.
Nice. I haven't. I don't have Telegram. I've been away for 3 days towards Portugal. I'm now in Portugal, by the way. So I don't have my old phone. So I don't have Telegram. I don't have a lot of things. It was hard to get everything running on this new telephone already. Yep. I don't know if you can actually transfer those accounts to a new telephone. I don't know. Still have to figure that one out.
Yeah, I'm not
Yes,
sure because
you
it.
can.
Okay.
Yes,
With
you can.
Telegram? Oh, that would be perfect.
With Telegram, if you have registered your email, then you can.
Mm-hmm.
If you still, if you it was your SIM, then you will need like a two-factor authentication with your SIM.
Okay.
So in that case, you will have to find a alternate way, or
Okay.
yeah, it's
I
possible.
will do that when I'm home. Okay, that's perfect. I feel
Okay,
naked
Gavin.
without Telegram now.
Yeah, I bet.
All right. So mine comes out in 2029, spring of 2029. So 5 years.
Nice.
That's more than 5
5
years.
years from now.
Was it 6? Is it 2023 already? Okay. All right. 2023. Sorry.
That pulse chain really fucks up your sense of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
Right?
don't even. The time is just a number.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. How's the sound with the earbuds? Is it okay?
You're good. You're good.
Perfect.
So Wild SJ is asking how to energize. Uh, I do you guys like? I don't recommend stimulant drugs, even though I have just taken some in the form of caffeine. No other to be exact. If you really want to energize, I guess hard workout should do the trick, but it can go both ways. It can tire you out. So
I don't think you can get energy from kombucha, SJ. And
I'm sure.
if I were you, let's see, I would like to ask you what you ate 3 days ago. That's probably the energy that's coming out right now. I hope you're taking your vitamins. Everybody, I've been, for the last month, I've been doing this stuff, longevity.com, where there's multiple vitamins, an elite way of extracting vitamins has been made available by this place, Longevity. I think they're out of Ohio. I'm not sure. I think their website says that their main base is San Francisco, but I think the processing happens in Ohio. Anyway, another Hexagon gifted me a supply for 30 days, and I've been doing that, and I feel great. And so
Nice.
I just on Saturday ordered a new supply, and so I'm kind of in between. I ran out of the other stuff, or I'm just about out of the other stuff, and I'm waiting on that new supply. But I'm gonna try it out for 90 days. That's what I would recommend to anybody. At least 60 days to replace old cells. At least whenever it is that you're changing your diet.
Did you pin that, or did you put that in the chat? I mean,
No, I because I couldn't recommend it, so I didn't want to.
Yeah.
But I ran across some things like B17, some talk about B17, and earlier in like our 4th episode, we talked about C60. Those are two things of interest to me right now. But youngevity.com, really easy to remember and find it. If you guys want to beat me to posting it in the chat.
I'll look it up. I think I'm 90 days in my new diet. Not really sure. Lost count. But I'm loving it.
What's that like?
It's so telling when you cheat. Because especially now when I was on the road to Portugal, it's not easy to maintain that diet. So you're gonna eat whatever is available. And oh man, my body's protesting. My stomach is upset. it's
Because you switched to
bloated.
a healthy diet and then you dibble
Yeah.
dabbled with the wrong food while you were on the road.
Yes, exactly.
That's so, oh my gosh, that sucks so bad because we're fighting up a hill. We got to find
Yeah.
good things to eat. We got to deter from the things that are fallacies that they're telling us are
Mhm.
good foods that aren't. But yeah, it's very, very important to pack your snack bags, pack your good water. Looks like Finbear's had a chance to take a break from polishing his chipper.
Mm. Not even his sauna.
So the topic of today is about invasive species. And I know that in the southern United States, the biggest invasive species that's talked about is kudzu vine. And there's an argument of how there's always going to be there's always going to be kudzu around. It was introduced to the forest areas, and then it gets up to the canopy area, and then it kills a lot of these trees. And so, like, some people in the new age are saying, "Oh, just allow goats to attack it." I don't think there's a solution found out, like permanent, of course, but that's an interesting invasive thing that's happening in this area. I thought about that because Diraj was posting for Marcus to read some Wisconsin invasive species stuff. In your area, did you know that these things are invasive?
No, it's like it wasn't for Marcus. Like I suppose he was already aware of all the things in Wisconsin, but uh, even I was surprised that the list is so huge. I have that website open. I'll just show it to you guys. Where is
So
this?
another thing that comes to mind with invasive species is around here we have something that we call China berry. It grows by roots, and then it also has these little berries that are they're a little bit smaller than cherries, and they float on water real well, and they get all throughout our water stuff. There's another one that we call hackberry because it just grows up on a fence line because it's been pooped out by a bird, and then it falls over at the first chance it gets. So those are two things that are like in my neighbor's yard that I can't cut down, and then they continue to throw runners into my yard, and so I have to deal with it. And then another thing with invasive is if I talk to my godfather, uh, he is a landowner and a pond owner, and he would argue that whenever it is that you have a smaller piece of land and you're trying to manicure it exactly what you want, then you don't want beavers to come inhabit your water features. While it is that I would suggest that, hell, have a larger piece of property and let those beavers have at it. So beavers would be another thing of invasives in my area.
Yeah.
Interesting, because usually beavers just create biostructure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They're pretty
landowners.
rough on stuff.
Yeah,
True. Yeah, it can demolish one but create another. Yeah.
they have a mind of their own.
Yeah.
It's not our mind.
Exactly.
Hey, speaking
Do
of
you have
beavers,
invasive fish as well? Because I know that's a problem in a lot of countries where they just not indigenous fish that just take over.
oh yeah, yeah, and somebody posted in the chat something about zebra mussels.
Mm.
That stuff has come into my local lake because of, being on a boat bottom from another lake locally, and so that's actually been an issue for the last 2 years. How much zebra mussel population has attached to the walls of the lake? Because around here we've got unnatural lakes in the hilly areas, we've cut away cliff sides, or we've made cliffs. And then that's where the zebra mussels go and attach themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a problem in Wisconsin as well, and Marcus had a few things to say about it.
Yeah, the Wisconsin DNR has really put forth a lot of effort in the last around 10 years that, you can't be transporting fish. So like if you catch bait fish out of a creek or something like that, you can't use them to fish in another body of water. You're supposed to make sure there's no plant debris or mud on your boat or your trailer. You're supposed to clean all of that stuff, and they have put forth a decent amount of effort to provide like hose stations, and they use chlorine specifically, but hose stations by a lot of the state parks and stuff like that, just to help prevent that, because you're supposed to wash everything off too after you're done in the lake or river or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it was. I was on the road somewhere and I saw a bunch of washing stations that were set up, and it may have been up in Montana the last time I was up there.
Yeah, they really take I mean, I'm not saying everybody does. Everybody probably should, but if you do, because you get water and mud and all that stuff on your boat and on your trailers and whatnot, and if you just go from this lake to 10 miles down the road or whatever that's not connected, you can easily transport an invasive plant or animal.
So our issue over here in Texas is one municipality or one lake is buying water from another lake. So we have a pipeline downhill to the next lake and then downhill to the next lake, going across the watersheds. The watersheds are going down like this. We're capturing them, and maybe they go to different main rivers, but we're capturing it up here on the hill, and then we're piping it from one lake to the other, and that's where our issues are. So my town is already infected, the people downstream from them, but we only recently got infected.
Yeah, I did read an article that apparently the zebra mussel just recently got into Texas not that long ago. So, I mean, I don't know if you can really stop it, but
2 years.
Yeah, try and mitigate it as good as possible, I guess.
Enemies?
I think right now we're trying to bum rush it. We're trying to fight it, like full force out in the open, when maybe it is that we need to have a roundabout thought process to this. Do the easy way. Let's manipulate it. Let's learn about it.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting thing to read, like how zebra mussels actually affect the ecosystem. Like the first, now the mechanism reported on the site, it's like these are filter feeders. So what they do is they increase the clarity of the water, so that causes rooted plants, aquatic plants at the bottom of the lakes to grow faster. So it is more cover for smaller fish. So more cover for smaller fish means less food for the bigger fish, and this is how they change the ecology. Plus, like mainly they are a problem because they clog up the transportation pipes, as well uh, as good as barnacles for boating stuff as well. So yeah,
And then
like
recreational
pretty cool.
people cut their hands and feet on it as well. Recreational
Yeah.
swimmers.
Yeah, that's a big deal in the lakes up here too. They actually dredge the swimming areas, because if you step on one, it can really cut your foot up pretty bad. I mean, they're sharp.
Yeah, and
Hey,
having a cut in swimming while swimming, it's really
mm,
bad. Twice as painful, I think. Like, so yeah.
so Paul Wheaton, who I follow, he and many other people bring up the idea that like we shouldn't be storing our water the way that we do, and we should decentralize our water, decentralize our dams that are holding back lakes. You guys, have y'all run across engineers of agriculture or engineers of nature who are against creating large, vast lakes? Have y'all seen arguments against that?
Uh, like in
No,
general,
not yet.
I've heard
like
folks talk about the negativities of large bodies of water and placed in the way that they are, because we're going and finding a channel or a valley, right? And we're putting a dam down where it's convenient for us, most convenient, and then we're backing up the water. So if it was that we didn't have all these pipelines and all this stuff, the zebra mussels would not be able to get into our 1,000 ponds unless all these boats interacted, or somebody transported it, or maybe a bird.
Yeah, it's usually us that creates the environment for those kind of species to actually thrive. So we are usually the cause of most of those invasive, well, generally always, but not only by just transporting them, but also by creating habitation for certain species to thrive where they normally wouldn't. Makes sense.
you know, but speaking
Finbear
about
said
dams, like
Finbear said earlier that whenever they have their crab cages, they have to boil them in between each one of them. You were saying, Josh?
yeah, no, while you are talking about dams, it reminded me of a Indian movie. Like there is a scene that in the parliament they are discussing like we are going to build a big dam on this river, and the politician is like, why do you want to build the dam? And the engineer says, we'll make electricity out of the water. And the parliament, like the politician is like, no, we cannot just do this. If you take out the electricity from the water, what will the farmers get from the water? It's that kind of things these are going on. It reminded on a tangent, it reminded me of the TikTok trial. But while going off, like before I go off rail completely, see, the thing is, uh, yeah, prevention is much better than cure. Avoid infecting the lakes, etc., or introduction of the new species. Control is the best way, but because after a point there is no way to recover from it. We It's after that, it's just you are trying to let nature take its course, and hopefully some of the other species will adapt to the current invasives and counteract them. Which, by the way, like, if you know, uh, the poster child for invasive species is the cane toad in Australia, introduced for sugarcane farming, but like it proliferated crazy because no predators. But now, recently, they have been finding that some of the snakes in Australia have already developed resistance to the venom that the cane toad produces. So nature finds its way, but till then we have to like not let the invasives uh, wipe out the whole ecosystem before that happens. I hope it.
And yes, Finbear, you hear crickets in the background. That's correct.
In my area, some folks have planted bamboo, and then they maintained it while they own the property, and then they move. There's been a lot of turnover in this area, so they'll move away, and then folks won't know how bad bamboo is invasive wise, because there's two different types of bamboo. There's clumping bamboo, and then there's other bamboo that really spreads wherever it wants to. So if it is that somebody has it on their fence line, then they're annoying their neighbor if their neighbor doesn't accept it. And the possibility, if their neighbor is like an elderly person, then it just keeps on coming straight into their lawn. So earlier, whenever I came back to town after corporate world life and everything, I used to go over to an elderly person's place and harvest the bamboo, help them keep the bamboo away from their barn. And so then I would take that bamboo and use it in garden projects, community garden stuff. What's up, Cryptic Girl? We're talking about
Yeah,
invasives.
nice to see Cryptical here, which kind of reminded me. Yeah, please check the link in the description of the video. We have the link to her merch shop. Pretty cool merch, I guess. I think she has Hex and Pulse Chain hoodies. Also, there is sidect.art and 369.xyz, all cool merch shops. If you like that, please buy and make yourself walking billboards for Hex and Pulse Chain. Yeah, thank you. The other
We
thing
all already.
yeah, that I recently saw a video regarding bamboo that it's really about people don't know about its growth exactly. Like it has a very what you call systematic growth cycle. In the first year, it like just grows, then it sends out shooters. Like so, if you know the growth cycle, you know when to chop it off exactly so that it doesn't spread. So the just figuring that stuff out is also very good. But my interest for this topic was actually um, instigated when I saw news regarding a woman was mauled to death by a bunch of feral pigs, and if you think it was in some third world country, no, it was in the US of A. So
She was killed by what?
Wild boars. So
Wild boars.
yeah, feral hogs. So what is
Yeah,
happening
yeah,
in
yeah.
my area in the south? They're coming up the riverbeds, and I knew that they were doing this back in like 2010 or something like that. And so whenever I moved back to town here after corporate world, like I was explaining earlier, I found that a lot of the veterans were sending, because we were at war, not at war at the time or something. I don't remember. The veterans here were killing all these hogs, turning them into sausage, and then sending that over, or jerky, and sending that over to the troops, saying, "Hey, we're thinking about you." Supposedly, it didn't taste that bad, but there were so many coming up through the riverbeds that they were coming all the way from Louisiana, all the way over here to Central Texas. So we did have an effort of, hey, come out and have your shooting practice. You'll do it at night, so you'll have the night vision, something or other on your scope. Pretty awesome footage that I saw on Facebook from some locals.
Did you see the Department of Ag in Texas has contracted, I think it was 14 helicopter pilots and 45 different guys to shoot them out of helicopters. That would be an interesting job to have, I guess.
That would be a very interesting job, as well as one that's local to my area, out in the retirement village that they call Sun City. I think there's only two of them. There's one in Phoenix and there's one here in Georgetown. They have a golf course community and a bunch of old folks, right? You have to be 55 or older, and there's all sorts of limitations. They have been overrun with deer, and people love feeding them the deer from their back porch, but people with plants, don't so much like it. They have so much deer population that the local fire department goes out there with nets and throws nets over the top of this huge, I don't know what you call a group of deer, a huge herd of deer. And that's how they gather them up, put them on a trailer, and ship them away.
It's
insane.
highly illegal up here to feed deer. Is it not illegal down there, or just people? I mean, you're probably not gonna, find somebody. They're not hunting them, but it's highly illegal up here due to chronic wasting disease, or it's like BSE. It's like the mad cow disease, but for deer.
I think down here, toward the border, we have something that's mixed with these malnutritious Mexican deer. So I heard about that because whenever it was that I was drinking in Houston a few years ago, I was visiting the old bars that I used to run at, and this lady comes through with a bunch of tamales, and she wants to sell to the drunk people at a place that doesn't sell any food. She wants to offer them food. And so we started talking about the product, and the guy next to me recognized that deer was one of the things on the menu, and he was like, "Oh no, we gotta stay away from that because of this thing." There's that, and then locally, I don't think it's illegal to feed deer, but neighbors are fighting each other. They're saying like, "Hey." Like a few of them recognize that you shouldn't be feeding them corn, and you shouldn't be making it so damn easy for them. So that's the argument that's happening right now. But I think it's completely legal.
Yeah, I think like deer, there is a problem in Japan as well. There is this shrine where it is like kind of a worshipped or visiting spot where people go there like to visit to see deers, and there is like a rice cake you can feed to the deer, and if the deer have learned that once they give you the rice cake, they nod or bow down to you, kind of. So yeah, they are like little large size rodents are what deer are actually. They decimate crops as well as eat barks of trees and kill them slowly. So there are so many things, like one of the main reason why these deer are like overpopulating is because of lack of predators, which is again one of the major factors for invasive species. With the I think in Japan it was the wolf. I don't know what would have been the top predator in Texas, but
Bobcat, maybe.
yeah, maybe bobcat that would cut with predators going away, like they say, with the cat away, the mice will play. Um, yeah, so this is what we are seeing.
Hey, Daraj, how about let's have a commercial break?
Yes, we will go for a break for 3 minutes. We will be advertising our Zanzibar chapter. Please watch.
Zanzibar, Hexaco.
The vision is to create the dream community, a retreat center, eco-village, sports facility, festival ground, to just really create the most beautiful place on earth.
So I'm taking on my biggest project ever, and I'm looking for the right people to embark on this journey with me. Thus far, I've been investing the amount of resources I have into this, and together with a small team of dedicated people, we've been able to get water access, electricity is being set up, and the first bungalow is due to be finished in a couple of weeks. And that's just the beginning. And Zanzibar is the perfect place to do this. Both because it's the most stunningly wonderful tropical exotic paradise, but also because there's so much potential to help the local community who are craving to enjoy the same opportunity as the rest of the world. Like proper co-working spaces with computers connected to the internet, professional sports talent development centers, proper waste management system. There will be retreats, workshops of different kinds, movie theater, lookout tower, basketball court, tennis court, football court, and natural coral rock pools, sustainable agriculture, music studio, podcasting studio, acrobatic park, yoga platforms. A place to develop talent and creativity in all shapes and forms, in a free place in the middle of nature, in tune with earth, as it should be. It's about giving value, it's about seeing the value we all inhabit, and it's about creating a new beginning in a society where we've forgotten who we are. I believe the future is held by those who come together in love, who understand that we are so connected, that we ultimately are one, and create from there, from the grassroots, where we have decided our own rules.
I freaking love this clip.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love it.
Really wonderful.
So buy your
Yeah,
tickets,
it really
guys.
cheers me up.
Go
Yeah,
see them.
these things give me hope in humanity again. God.
Something that comes to mind is Pulsargeist has been saying lately that there's 70 countries that don't have an income tax. Think about it.
That much?
Yeah. We're sitting here thinking like the world is limited as we're sitting here being taxed this shit out.
Oh my god.
All right, so
I need to
that
talk
comes
more
to
to
mind.
Nathan again.
Another thing that comes to mind to me is Sepp Holzer out of Austria, who is like one of the greatest permaculturists of our day. He says that it's like I understand that Zanzibar hasn't taken any dilemmas, or this piece of property hasn't had dilemmas from the modern world. But the modern world is populated, and it is sick with machinery and issues caused by machinery. So Sepp Holzer's quote is something like, "It took machinery to get us here, and it's going to take machinery to get us out." So whenever it is that I see the Zanzibar watering hole, where it's meant to be like a cave pool and swimming area, then I wonder, like, what, to make that, you're going to need machinery tools. So what is the availability of machinery tools out there? So that would be a question from me to Morton.
Yeah, we will discuss it in the Telegram group maybe when he is available.
I wonder what sort of invasives he has down there.
Probably not a lot. I mean, it's an island, isn't it?
Yes. It's like a sand bar, Zanzibar.
Yeah.
Sandy bar.
I do feel I don't feel not positive on invasives, but a lot of them are not destructive in, I guess, a sense. I mean, obviously you have some that are, and then they're very detrimental to wherever they're introduced to. But as as economic trade happens between countries, that it's interesting to see the developments that have happened over the last 120 years or so. A lot of invasive species have been brought on and on ships with products that went to whoever, and that's kind of how they got there. And you don't realize it until, oh, hey, what's this new bug or this new disease or parasite or whatever, and you say, oh, well, now we need to try and figure out how to do it. I really hope that there is more of a proactive approach to that type of stuff. If you're trading food goods or wood products to one country to another, that they go ahead and make sure that everything's clean before you bring it in.
This makes the argument for the possibility of lands that have been kept from society, right? It would be to their argument, right, Facing?
Yeah, but
you guys are just gonna fuck it up anyway, so we're hiding it from you.
Yeah, we get the imaginary orbals again. Yeah,
See,
but it's
the thing
I mean, the
is,
whole thing that we got.
Sorry, the thing
No, go
is,
ahead.
not every invader or new species will thrive equally. It's the problem that most of them are innocuous. The problem is they grow so fast that the other species don't have the time to adapt to them. Which also reminded me, like, you guys remember the murder hornet scare that was passed around in 2021 or 2020?
Yeah, slightly.
Like,
Yeah,
so it's I think it's mostly East Asian hornet which kills honeybees, and if you search for it, like, it has like the Japanese honeybees have found a cool way to, or rather a very hot way to deal with it. Like,
yeah,
if a murder hornet um, enters the hive, all the bees swarm it around it and literally, like, raise their body temperature and literally roast the murder hornet. Now now the argument was that the US or American bees don't have this defense mechanism, so these murder hornets will kind of decimate all the uh, bees in the US. But what happened? The temperatures in the US are not suitable for the growth of the murder hornet, so it didn't spread. So it didn't spread.
Mm,
So these are kind of all things to be taken into consideration. But
mm.
yeah, we have to be careful what we introduce into the environment.
But didn't we create the most invasive species with the, let's say, the insects, the bugs, all these things that came with goods? The only reason it exists is because we need to centralize everything. 100 years ago, everything was so decentralized in the creation of food. You didn't have to transport it. Everybody made their own. Now we live in a system where everybody wants to eat everything that is available around the world, and I want it now. It was plucked yesterday. I want it now. I mean, we create all these problems ourselves.
Me and my coffee
Because
addiction.
coffee, avocado, how many other things? Like everything that we grow is coming from somewhere. Like you think about it, I think when the potatoes came from South America, onions from somewhere else, tomatoes from Spain, wherever you go, everything have been like transported somewhere else and have grown like crazy. So it's inevitable. It's just we have to find a balance that other things don't get wiped off because of it. I,
I think
that's
it's all
my
just
kind
a
of.
bit hypocrite because there were a lot of things that we grow in the Netherlands ourselves and is now not grown anymore. Yet it's imported from Africa, Asia, and all these countries are now importing most of the things that we used to grow ourselves. So we want to tell the whole world that we need to cut down on CO2 emissions. Yet we transport all our goods from literally the other side of the world. Where does that make sense? It's all so hypocritical. If this whole system is so screwed from the core, based on false narratives and all these other nonsense.
It's framing the stats, right?
Yeah,
Telling us that we're so smart. You're so smart. You're so educated.
yeah,
Everything. Now interpret this lie that I'm pushing in your face.
yeah, exactly. Ah,
So, oh gosh, what's up, Tin Top? Finbear is over here in the chat saying that he drinks Brazilian orange juice. That reminds me of something I was watching recently where somebody was saying like, hey, do you realize that you're drinking like a sports drink worth of sugar whenever it is that you drink a full glass of OJ? If you were to open up an orange and eat only an orange or 2 oranges, you wouldn't get nearly that amount of juice, which is natural.
And
correct. And you get way more fibers that actually have the minerals in them instead of just a squeezed juice.
And that OJ, that's probably coming at the beginning of your day. So you're like, pop, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
And then they'll let me
and-
down.
The
And-
fiber is important. That's what's important. All your fruits and vegetables. Like if you
Yes.
drink juice, it's literally just the sugar.
Ooh, good one. Finbear also says that Italians thought that tomatoes raw were poisonous. Well, they're fucking right. In my opinion, they are.
Oh, you don't like tomatoes raw?
I've actually deterred from all tomatoes if I can help it.
Oh, you got to have some of the cherry tomatoes.
That's what I'm staying away from.
They're the size of a grape and they're so sweet.
So what is this a bit about peeling your tomatoes before you make tomato sauce? You guys know this?
I thought that was normal. Is there a reason for it?
The Italians take the tomato peel away before they cook the tomato because there's issues with the peel.
I did not know that. I
That's
guess we always
interesting.
blanched them. You know, you
Yeah.
blanch them and the skin just kind of sloughs off.
Falls off. Yeah.
Well, there's a reason to remove them when you're making sauce. When you're like long-term cooking.
I would imagine it would probably have to do with consistency, because the tomato itself will mash up into a paste or a liquidy type of stuff, but the skin won't.
Finbear, I'm bullshitting your bullshit.
See,
I think that's right.
I have heard this argument. Like, first of all, yeah, too much of anything is bad for you. For tomatoes specifically, it has high content of oxalic acid, which kind of promotes what you call kidney stones to be rough, like, which is kind of why. But it also has, like, they may be present as crystals, tiny crystals in the fruit itself and in the skin, which is like, it was designed to be a protection against wild animals from eating it, but apparently it is also what makes them so delicious to humans. So failed strategy. For me, like, both in Indian cuisine as well as here in the Philippines, most of the food is like, or most of the tomatoes are cooked with the skin on. Like, so I am okay with it. It's just limit your consumption of tomatoes, I guess.
Maybe my thing is blood type. Because different foods affect different blood types. But I'm being called hipstery by Finbear. Thanks a lot.
What I found in my research a lot is that or veggies are generally described as a medicine, not as a food.
Very cool. Very cool thought. Eat your medicine. You eat too much food.
Yeah. But also, in the same regard, if you have to prevent a headache, do you take an aspirin every day, or do you only take it when you have a headache? And I think veggies, and primarily veggies, not fruit so much, but veggies could do the same thing. They're all really good for certain things within the body, but should we regard it as food for daily use? Still a debate that I'm doing with myself.
So I think those people at youngevity.com, they'll say that you just eat too much. Everybody's just overeating. That's their problem.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Just generally, yeah.
The more food goes in, the more toxicity that's caught and developed.
The people that grew the oldest in what I could tell within my generations were the ones that endured after the Second World War. They had this era where there was simply no food, and all the kids that were raised within that period all went extremely old. Instead of the people that are living really wealthy, they died young. So could be a correlation.
I'm trying to figure out what I can credit for my younger looks. I remember my mom used to tell me that I stink like garlic. I might need to go back to my love for fresh garlic.
Yeah, okay. It's see, currently I am on a seafood diet. SEE. I see food, I ate it, I don't think much about it. So
how many times have you been to McDonald's in the last month? I know at least once.
Multiple. It's almost a week, every week or so. So
Oh boy.
Oh, I will sacrifice a few years of my life for the pleasure of eating a McDonald's right now. I'm okay with it. It's just a trade-off.
All right.
I can't
So
even remember the last time I had McDonald's.
the only doctor in the room is eating McDonald's. I
Yeah,
would
Probably
because
argue,
never
because I
saw.
have
I don't know what sort of punchback you're going to give us, but I would argue that it is your cells that are made from that food that then say, I want more of that. And that's what you're feeding. That's the connection, the emotional attachment of your cells to making more of those same type of cells.
it's not just like my comeback would have been actually like I have a better access to healthcare, so I'll probably be okay. But the thing you pointed out was like, uh, not just the body cells, it's your gut biome, the
Mhm,
what you call bacteria, as well as bacteria that break down your food. They are the ones that produce some of the vitamins
mhm.
in your body that are required. So they are adapted to a certain kind of food, and even though it has not been kind of proven yet, but I do believe they also have impact on what you crave for in food. So that could be it.
I
That
think
that
McDonald's
may be
shouldn't be
why
allowed to call it food.
fast food or junk food, either way.
There's
But
literally
let's not
no
count it.
nutritional value within McDonald's food. There have been so many tests throughout, literally from the existence of McDonald's. There's almost no nutritional value within McDonald's food,
And we
and that's
have to
also the
define
reason why.
nutrition. We have to go down
Yeah,
to the
it's
basis
not
of
even made of
nutrition.
real food. True. But if you take a hamburger from McDonald's, it literally has not you can burn it. It doesn't even want to burn. It's we can't even. It's pretty much 99% synthetic. It probably has no such thing as what we should call food in it. It's probably the reason why when you eat it and you're full to the brim, and 30 minutes later you're hungry. Wonder why that is. It's just
Well,
stuffing.
I
There's
mean,
no.
don't worry. The food chemists of the industry have really put forth a lot of effort to make stuff incredibly desirable.
It's so
You know,
true.
And the marketing team has done such a hard job.
you know, if you think about a lot of the food in our grocery stores that was not even in existence. You in nature you cannot find food with salt levels and fat levels and carbohydrate levels in the same ratios. That's really a big deal to food addiction. Your brain
Amen.
says, "Oh my, this is something that I can't get enough of," and you sacrifice nutrition in the response.
I don't know what's
Yeah.
inside of this book that Tin Top is recommending, but it's called The China Study. It explores what is often referred to as the diet of kings. That's interesting.
But
I know that
as
somebody threw a Big Mac in sulfuric acid and it did not want to dissolve. That should tell you a lot.
the thing is, I don't believe many of the or most of the videos, especially food ones, uh, on the internet. Maybe was true, maybe not, but because like I don't know, people get a hard on or something, like spreading misinformation. I think I debunked two of two videos that were posted in the Telegram chat. Like they have already been debunked, kind of. People like false food, plastic food being spread out. But
Pretty much everything contains microplastics. And with the McDonald's thing, there was a lady, and I think it's in America. She did it pretty much every year. Put a Big Mac in a Tupperware plastic container every year, and she has a whole closet full, and they all look the same. Some were at 30 years old. They don't even rot. I mean, at
yeah,
some point,
preserve.
yeah.
So the preservatives in the burger would help me preserve myself as well. I hopefully my mummified body would be looked on by archaeologists, and they will find, oh, this was a very smart human being. uh,
You will
Anyways,
be the guy
uh,
that we find now with a complete body that is mummified by itself without intervention. Yeah, that will be you in the future.
no, I won't allow that to happen. I will get myself cremated. But what was I saying? We have already
Aww.
kind of crossed the 1 hour mark. If you guys want to continue, please say so. But speaking of McDonald's and like food, like, have you guys seen the movie Super Size Me? I think that was the one that sparked the real debate, like regarding food. Uh, so
No.
this is kind of a documentary that one guy, he spent like 1 month eating just McDonald's, and everything super size. So the title Super Size Me. Like
It's
I don't know.
disgusting.
I think, yeah, and he compared the result
Was it 30
of
days?
yeah, compared like he did his
Did
medical
he die?
checkup.
No, but
No,
his
no,
doctor said he
no.
lost 2 years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which also reminded me, there was a kind of a parody of uh, the movie, not exactly a parody, but it was called Super High Me. Like,
Yeah.
you might have seen that one, where the like the protagonist is supposed to be high 24/7 for the next 30 days. That's also worth watching. I
What
think
was the
I think
outcome of
there is
that?
no, like, so the outcomes are completely different. Like in Super Size Me, he's like, oh my god, I'm never going to eat at McDonald's ever again. Whereas in Super High Me, it's like, oh, come on. Guys, the producer is like, okay, you can stop now. Stop. Why stop? I'm going
Yeah.
to continue.
How can I continue to budget this?
uh, yeah,
Uh, so
golly.
yeah, which also reminded
Talking
me,
about
it's
budget,
already it's already 420 or 20th of April here in the Philippines. You guys are still lagging behind by 12 hours, I guess. So happy 420 for all those in my time zones or
Oh
watching
shit.
at
I'll
420.
smoke one later.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Whew. I think
The-
last year I was taking a break during 420. But yeah, not taking a break lately. Viber Finance is in the comments, giving you a hard
Nice.
time facing.
We
He
were
wants
made
to
for
make
each
sure
other.
that you're safe, that you're not around a bunch of gangsters over there in Portugal.
Oh no. I really started to dig this thing. I'm planning on growing my hair, and it sits like hell for a long time when you try to grow your hair. And since a cap doesn't suit me that well, I thought let's try this one, and I kind of like it, to be honest. It doesn't itch like a cap does. way more comfortable. You don't
I used to
sit
do
on
that
it.
in the garden because, like whenever you're growing out your hair or you've got
Mhm.
long hair already and you're bent over trying to do stuff in the garden, you don't want your dirty hands touching your face after it is that hair falls in your face
Mhm.
and blown up into your sweat and stuff like that. So yeah, get some ties whenever it is that what I used to do is I'd have little bamboo sticks, and then I'd take my long hair, which was all the way down to my butt, and I'd do the little man bun thing. So I'd pin through, twist it around, pin back through, and it held it up pretty good. And I've somehow not pulled out all my hair because of that. Hey, we got a new guy, Hardware, over here in the comments. Welcome, Hardware. Welcome to the guild.
Welcome.
Yes. And so yeah, Tintop was talking about that book called about the king's diet, like, and they found contradictory, or let's see, like, it went to the Philippines to, not this doctor in the Philippines, to help after look after the phenomena. He was that malnutrition was lack of protein in the diet, but they found poor were in better health than the rich. Now
Because the issue
I
is that we need minerals, right? We need to we
see.
need to have everything at our body's fingertips, if you will, in order
Mhm.
to go about functions or build things. So those people probably had wood stoves. They had their hands in ashes. They were breathing in the ashes. They were getting stuff out of their food and their environment that then was
So
absorbed into their body, maybe.
Interesting.
th- that's a good
Hmm.
take, but straight, like, my immediate
And also, water
idea
was
is,
completely different then.
Let's hear this rhetoric from the doctor.
Yeah.
no, my immediate thought is the lifestyle. Poor, I suppose they'll be doing more manual labor, keeping the, whereas the rich would be having a more sedentary lifestyle. So that could also be a big contributor. But
So what is
Yeah.
it that they would
I'll
run
look
into?
into
Are
it.
you just talking about body kinetics?
Yep, yep. Yeah, kind of.
I think Marcus wanted to say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, they probably were not only more active, but they likely had a more varietal diet where their, as Diraj said, their gut bacteria don't get outbalanced one way or the other. Because if you go from like a totally vegetarian diet and then you just go to a totally like meat eating diet, you know that's kind of rough on your gut. It's not used to that stuff, so it can't break
Correct.
down all those different foods. So I'm sure that the kings, quote unquote, had more of a narrower band. Granted, the food may have been, in their opinion, better, but they didn't have as wide of a variety in their diet.
They probably ate cake.
Yeah, Kriti
Good
is
one.
talking about primary water and secondary water. What I don't know. I'm familiar with structured water, but I don't know the definition of primary and secondary. Do you guys know?
Mm, no, I
Who says
haven't.
this? Is it in the chat?
Yeah, it's in the
Uh,
chat. Kriti said it, I think.
I have never heard of it. I don't know much about it.
No, me neither.
Well, I would think that
I'm familiar with
secondary,
structured water, but
maybe secondary came from a treatment plant and then was ushered back into nature.
Mhm.
So primary would be straight from the filtered geography.
yeah,
I don't know.
springs.
Primary
It's one
water
of our
would be
biggest problem now.
just open your mouth, looking at the sky. rainwater that falls in is the primary water.
Yeah.
Rest is secondary. I yeah, we will discuss it in the Telegram group. I
Crypty Girl
surely
says yes to Truth, who said dead water versus live water. So primary versus
Yeah,
secondary.
that's structured water. Yeah, that's probably the definition of structured water and unstructured water. That's the definition that I can. Because structured water is the same thing. Yeah.
Can we take secondary water and turn it into primary?
Yes.
That
Can we do
depends. I think so. That depends on the definition, what you mean with primary and secondary.
Hey, HOA, can we add to the projects a desalinization plant?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Or just take it out of the air. I mean, condensation is still the most purest form of water. So
That's what it is, right?
yeah.
No. Desal is different.
It's just
Yeah,
taking
desal is
salt water,
seawater. Yeah.
Yep.
But you can
run
do it
through
with
those membranes
osmosis. Yeah.
that I was talking to you about the one day, Davin. The membranes, you push water through at a high pressure and it separates the salt from the water. Energy intensive, relatively expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We can
structurally, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, it'll come out as water.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about how much part per million it actually contains to be pure H2O.
Yeah, I mean, you can get it all the way down to the equivalent of distilled water. It can be literally just water with no minerals in it at all.
That's what I drink the most.
Most people don't like that.
Hey, Finbear, post a link to Andrew Millison's live stream, please, so we can go rate it after this. Oh, he already did. It's in the chat, guys.
Okay. Then
Perfect.
we will end the live stream here. You can catch us in next week, same channel, same time. Hopefully. Till then, any parting words of wisdom?
I just hope we have an exit tune. Do you have an exit tune in store?
Oh, no, we don't have an exit tune yet. Working on it one step at a time. So I'm just going to say good night.
Perfect. I'll make sure I be more.
I love that one.
Good old days.
Okay, then goodbye, everyone. Bye bye.
See ya.
Hey, y'all, do some good stuff. Wait, Duraj, did you already press the button?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
still live?
Really, really fast. Guys, conquer the day. You know, take your time, use them wisely, rise to the highest level of health that you can so that you can see this world for the beauty that it is. Get me a mail address, please. Get me any way that I can send out mail to you guys so that we can do a network effect of hex marketing tools that I've been ironing out for a while now. I'm really excited about this stuff. And I've got some funds that have come in where I don't like the source of where these funds came from, so I need to distribute them into things that will build stuff. I don't know if you guys believe in, you know, the passing of energy, but I don't want these people's energy. I've got $1,200 to blow. I've had it for a little while, and I'm just trying to figure out where to throw it. But give me
maybe better magnets, because I had your magnets on the back of my trailer, but they started to curl up by the heat. The the green ones.
Yeah.
And they slowly started releasing, so I took them off and put it in the car again. So that would be nice.
So there's a higher quality of magnet that I'll get from stickermule.com, and then there's a lower quality of magnet that I can get larger quantities for cheaper. And so those come through one of our hexagons, and I knowingly, purchase these lower quality ones in order to get more of them. But yeah, if it comes through Sticker Mule and you visit their website, click on get a sample, then you can pay $10 for 10 magnets or 10 stickers or 10 anything. And so those are really high quality that'll stand up to like putting them on your truck for multiple years. And I've tested that
Oh,
as
that's
well.
perfect.
It's been
So
2
I
years that
think
I've
Could
had my
DM me
truck
that?
covered with magnets. Just stickermule.com, and then on the
Okay.
website click on get samples, and then because they'll advertise $10 for samples, $10 for samples, and then guys, it's so easy to just submit a file and then give them a little bit of instruction, and they claim within 3 hours or 4 hours they'll give you a proof back to your email. And then so you look at the proof, approve the proof, and boom, in 2 weeks you'll have your magnets, because they're based out of Netherlands. But ironic, right? But
Really?
I don't know where the production actually happens, but it would make sense that it's in Europe because it's about that same timeline. But it's high quality stuff.
uh,
So thanks so
so
much for allowing me to talk about this, because it's very important to me, at least to my efforts, that I'm able to spread these marketing materials around to people so that once it arrives at a location, then it disperses. And then every one of us gets much better about talking about Hex.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. So they're from the
So
Netherlands. I'll take an order.
my idea would be first have a giveaway on this channel. We need more subscribers, at least get to 1,000. We can have, the more subscribers we have, the more voice we have in general. So I'll think about something. We all will, in the Telegram group. Join us now, and this will be the final goodbye for today. See you next week. Bye bye.